Right, hey, story time. So, this story, um, like I said, is from Cheyenne Chief Roman Nose. And it's one that, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many times I've told it. And I just keep telling it more and more times as I grow and, as it becomes, more apparent that, we need to share our stories and our life stories and the things that help us, really. But for the first, this story, I first heard it when I was 18. And I told it to, like everyone that was, that I was close to, geez, up until I was, mid 40s. And then something happened, and I really started sharing it more. Oh, no, yeah, mid 40, close to the 40. I'm 54 now. So, anyways, with today the anniversary of Sand Creek Massacre, of course, I thought it'd be good to share. And if you know me, I like bashing contemporary society and contemporary governments and that kind of thing, and just showing their inefficiency and all the things in contemporary society that are not contributing to our wellness. And this is a story of someone who's I think reflecting a culture that has a lot of insights to wellness, and that well, I think if you see this, you'll understand, and everyone should understand what's been lost by not listening to history and elders and wise people. Well, like Eckhart Tolle, Sadhguru, Gandhi, um, Chief Roman Nose. And so there's two things. So the story starts like I was 18 and in jail. All right, perfect beginning to a story, right? Well, while I was in there, I had access to a library, and of course, some of the books were ancient, right? Which ended up being really good for me because I came across some of these stories, some of these stories from native culture, and two of them really sat with me, and one of them was a story I'm going to tell, and I call it the no metal dinnerware story, the Chief Roman Nose story about no metal dinnerware, and the other one was from Frank's Fool's Crow, No Hollow Bones. If you know me, you've probably heard these stories before. And if you're watching this, there's a good likelihood that you've heard the stories before without knowing me. But the story of Chief Roman Nose is, like I said, I was 18, I was in jail, so having, feeling that overwhelming challenge. I was mad at everyone. I was mad at the world for killing the world that they live in, of course. Why wouldn't you be mad, right? But I didn't understand it back then. I didn't have anyone to talk to about these things. I grew up in contemporary society, and it was just perpetuating bullshit. So there was no one to tell me, oh yeah, they're fucked up. It was just denial and living in that. So I had to, fortunately, I had the trees. I had the trees to go out and talk to and tell me, yeah, it's a bunch of shit. You're right. And so that helped. But all right, the story of Chief Roman Nose and no metal dinnerware. So I had these challenges. It was a tough time in my life, like everyone, at that age, of course, And the story goes like this. The story is that Chief Roman Nose and the Cheyenne were, engaged in battle and with the U.S. government, as everyone still is. Nothing changed there, right? And so that was tough. There was a lot going on, and so he talked to the medicine man, and they made a deal with the spirits and Tungashla, and I guess whatever you say is out there, and it's a medicine man. We don't know, great mystery, right? So Chief Roman knows, and the medicine man made a deal, and the spirits, whatever, said that he'd be okay, he'd be safe and successful in battle, as long as he didn't eat from white man's dinnerware. And so if you think about that, like how much awareness and how developed was this person to have such a challenge issued, right, on top of having a challenge in day-to-day life and battling the U.S. government, right? This guy had to watch from where he was eating, right? And to put that in context, this was a time when metal was coming across the plains, right? And so, like, metal knives, metal arrowheads, metal pots, metal pans, all this kind of stuff. And the ancestor said, no, you can't use that, right? So I tell people this is like, and I've been telling this story for so long. I've been telling this story since, before cell phones, literally. And then when I started telling it more, I'd say it was like the new iPhone 8. And I know we're like way past that. So let's say this is like, if we're busy and, in contemporary business world, and the ancestors say you're going to be good as long as you don't use the new iPhone 50. And like, that's the new thing, right? And we're busy and we're doing all this, and our phone dies and we need to make a call, and someone, hands us his phone, and it's like, oh wait, is that an iPhone 50? I can't use that, but it's even worse than that, because it'd been like the only phone, it's like metal dinnerware. So anyway, a little bit of context there is like, that's when like all this stuff was coming across the plains, and like the newest, latest, greatest thing, and nothing else was even like that. I think you can get the idea there. So it struck me when I was, reading this story that, wow, that's a real challenge to have to watch out for that. And it spoke to the awareness that we're supposed to have of everything that comes into our space. Because you'd have to be like, hyper aware like that, like, walking through grizzly bear country, with a stringer full of salmon or something, and to watch out. So every time, think about that. Every time you eat, think about, not doing something, and keep that awareness up. So just that level of awareness that person had. And I think that level of awareness is, what, we're aware of challenge. So those things kind of connected for me. And then also, it spoke to contemporary society, because obviously, white, AKA colonial, AKA contemporary, new way, whatever. It's not skin color, but it's that mindset, it's that mentality, it's that get, go mentality that we really need to watch out for. So it spoke to me to say, yeah, like everything, all this new stuff it is wrong. It's not sustainable. And I knew some of these things from, I already had a background in fisheries, forestry, wildlife, so I understood the concept of sustainability and habitat and carrying capacity and habitat, and equate that to the human species. And it was like, oh wow, there's some big shit going on, some big wrong shit going on. So the so Chief Romanos got hooked up this way, as long as he didn't eat out of new dinnerware, no metal dinnerware. So anyways, and even in history books, it shows that Chief Romanos, he was safe and successful in battle against the U.S. government. And then until one time he was served soup that was made with a spoon. So not only could he not eat with a spoon with metal dinnerware, but he couldn't eat anything that was made with metal dinnerware. So it's like, well, think about that level of having to watch out where everything's from, and again, to think about how advanced this person was to be able to take on that challenge. I mean, he had to be in a place to accept that challenge and, to be able to do it, to already be at the place where he could actually, embrace that challenge. He was capable. So that in itself was just amazing and spoke to, that awareness of that person. So anyways, he was served soup with a spoon, and then he was like, I guess the translator was like, shit, because then they said that because his medicine was broken, and then there was a ceremony to get medicine back together. And that really resonated with me, because it's like, yeah, when we screw up, for me, it was like that time, doing drugs, alcohol, whatever. I could list a whole bunch of other things too. But like, I was good, on my growth, on my path, until I did this or did that or did this. And then my medicine was broken. And that was the first time I heard the term medicine used in that way. So that really resonated with me. I'm like, oh, they're talking about like, our medicine, our, not our physical, whatever, Hall's benthleiptus or Robitussin. They're talking about our spiritual medicine. And that really resonated with me. That's like, okay. And, deeper was like, wow, here's people that like speak this language. So this just resonated with me huge. And like I said, I was 18 in jail, and I heard the story, and I was having a really challenging time. And this is one of the two things that really helped me, look at things from a new perspective. And that challenge, and that being issued a challenge was an honor. Having a challenging path was an honor that's kind of issued to us, and so that we have the potential to do that, and to look at it as an honor instead of as a bummer, which contemporary society like balks at all challenge, and has eliminated challenge, and challenge, the challenge of life and death facilitates life. This is like life 101. So we can't just eliminate challenge. And so what do? We embrace it. And if you look at traditional cultures, there's lots of examples of embracing challenge and putting ourselves through intentional challenge, and even, life and death challenge. So that's being proactive, right? Using some terms today, instead of reactive and dissing challenge and all that. Probably most people that are watching are pretty hip to this conversation. So his medicine was broken, and so that was like, to hear that like when we if we're not really watching out for the things on our path that come into our path, lessons from addiction, like 101, right? If we're not like super extra hyper vigilant, then our medicine gets broke. And that's like our path of growth. And then we have to start from scratch, right? Addiction 101. Everyone's who've been through that fall off the wagon, and then you have the long, long trail to get back on. So you don't want to So you don't want to lose that. You know, we don't want to lose our momentum, our trajectory, our medicine, when whatever else all that entails. So hearing these things was just a huge eye opener for me. Uh, Actually, maybe even gave me eyes in one sense, you know, because I didn't understand until then. Um, but yeah, having a challenge is an honor, and don't break your medicine. Watch out for everything. The new ways aren't sustainable. They're actually not right. They don't work, which everyone knows. Uh, but you know, when I was 18, I didn't have the years of perspective and mulling this over and hearing other people's perspective and all that. So it's super, super powerful. And I think that's still a powerful lesson for people. You know, everyone's at different places at different times. Um, so yeah, that's the story of Chief Roman Nose and No Metal Dinnerware. Um, Fast forward, I guess I should have said this at the beginning too, but fast forward, let's see here, 18, 28, 38. Yeah, get my math out right. 18, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, fast forward 20 years. And I had the honor of meeting one of Roman Nose's ancestors that still carries that name. And they just happened to be in the town next to me, and like I saw them on, you know, some Facebook or something, and I was like, oh, holy crap, that's that, you know, that's that name, that's Roman Nose. And so I messaged them, and I was like, hey, are you by chance related to, you know, Chief Roman Nose and No Metal Dinnerware story? And they're like, yes, I am. And it's good to hear someone else knows that story. I'm like, oh man, that story was like, you know, like, you know, kept me alive, saved my life, really. And so ended up meeting this person, and now, you know them, and that's been awesome. And but that again speaks to like just, you know, that power of connection, and that story and that ancestor. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that because I think that those, you know, lessons of challenge, lessons of awareness, and putting all that in context are, you know, good things for everyone. And like, I think everybody should hear this story, no matter where you're from or anything. And yeah, so that's a story, and I just want to put my, you know, my personal thoughts into there, and share it, and you know, hope that other people, you know, hear this, and you know, can get anywhere close to the same, you know, help that I've got from that. So you know, big shout out to the ancestors. You know, again, they had lots of lessons, some freaking crazy, in tune, you know, intelligent, advanced people. Um, so, you know, and colonial government wants to get rid of them, to put it mildly. So, you know, but that's the reality of it, and you know, the reality is we have to know the challenge. We have to know reality, and knowing reality, even though it might be, you know, not what we choose, it's still reality. And if we know the challenge, if we know what's wrong, then you know we have a chance to work with that at least. Anyways, in the interest of me not just continuing to ramble on, I'll save that for another time. Just want to share that story, and honor the ancestors, you know, on this day of the anniversary of Sand Creek Massacre, when you know, a lot of those people were killed by the government, and all that, you know, more people that carried that traditional wisdom that, you know, people lived in 10, 20, 30, 40 plus thousand years of sustainability. You know, so just keep everything in context. All right. Have a good day.